Hey everybody, this is Tactical Reserves. I'm Brinks.
I'm Zach.
I'm Troy.
I'm Amble.
And I'm Chad.
And this week we're going to be doing our normal topics and jumping into the new Forgeworld book a little bit. I guess we'll start with hobbying. I worked on a Satan Dragon Shard this week, and I'm pretty disappointed with the kit. I'm going to let you know, you guys are paying... Well, if you buy it from the web store, you're paying like $120 for a single sprue. And it's not very impressive.
I mean, this kit, like, it's in two pieces. Like, it could literally be folded in half and put in one of the normal Marine boxes.
Yeah, it would fit in a Marine box for sure. It's think of like a Hellbrute. It's a Hellbrute.
But you get a full-page book, so.
You get a full-page book.
And color.
And color.
Wiggly lines and stuff, though. Those things take up space.
I'm just saying, for the price of the plastic, man.
Sure, is there enough
I feel
spiky
like
bits on that model for you?
There are a lot of
There are
spiky bits on it.
I am not going to hate on it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm excited to play it, and it's a cool model, but I do think it should have been $60 or $70.
Yeah. You're paying more for the name and lore of the model than you are.
I feel like they charged it for the points.
Well, I think you're paying for the complexity.
I think you
I
are
don't
too.
think it's that complex of a
Well,
model,
no,
Just a bunch of strings.
I'm just saying to make that the you gotta. It's a new
I got a model right here that was $30 more that is infinitely more complex.
Yeah.
And infinitely more plastic.
Like, that was just a bunch of squeaking lines.
Okay, so would you want that one to have like 2 more sprues and be $30 more?
I want that to be cheaper. Because
For
I don't
what
want it to be
is.
bigger on the table. Anyway.
Yeah, anybody that saw the pictures, how they kind of, like,
Yeah.
all the GW pictures make it look
They
like
make it
more
look
terrain side.
huge.
Yeah.
So they messed around with perspective. It's not nearly that big.
No, it's...
No.
And the worst part about it is... Okay, so... The hardest part about playing this model is... There's the Nightbringer base, right?
Nobody can see that.
I'm showing you guys. Look at the base is like triple the size on this Void Dragon.
It's triple. It's pretty big.
Are you sure the base on the Nightbringer is the right one?
It is. Because that's even the special thing that came with the kit and
We'll
everything.
upload some pictures on the Discord.
I am so disappointed in this because
Well,
you know how
that's-
much harder it is to
that's
put
why-
the big ass base into.
Is that an 80 or 100?
That's a 60. That's a 60.
The other one's like a normal Marine base.
I don't know what this
That's
is.
a 60.
It's disappointing.
60 and a 40.
It is
No,
disappointing.
that might be.
That might be an...
It's
And-
definitely more than twice the size of the Nightbringer one.
I think it's an 80.
Might be an 80.
That's why I was looking.
Who knows? Bases.
But yeah.
So it's going to be harder to play because you can't get into it as much. It's like trying to get a slam captain in versus trying to get
Yeah, it's an 80.
80 versus 40. I guess double the size, but it feels significant when it comes to playing it on the field.
It'll look
But
cool
it
when
is
it's
a
done.
dope model,
It'll
and
look good when it's done.
I
Your
airbrushed.
costume.
I'm trying a new technique. I'll tell you guys how it goes next week. But what I did is I airbrushed all the primary colors. So like the body I did the gold, the stone I did in stone, the metal I did in like this dark color that I'm interested to see how it plays out. And then I did a light airbrush on all the blue glowing effects just to see how it's going to turn out.
This is all on sprue, people. He has
Yeah, it's on the sprue. Well, we were also eating bean boozles. I was in no condition to be gluing things together.
Yes.
So I was like, well, I guess we're going to try this today. So
Too many bean boozles.
Also, you were with Chad, so you don't want to put that kind of juju on your model.
that's true. That's true.
That was unnecessary.
But yeah, I did that this week. Worked on the Gorkanaut some more. Almost have all the main coloring on it. And I finally think tomorrow I'm going to finish my Silent King model. So, done. Like, putting together. So, that one will be finished. And then it'll sit on the shelf because I have not fielded it. By the end of this week, so I went from fielding a Nightbringer and a Silent King to a Nightbringer to a Nightbringer and a Dragon Shard to none of them.
None of
Not
them.
even the
None of
Dragon
them.
Shard?
Not even a Dragon Shard.
Void Dragon.
Or Void Dragon.
Void
Yeah,
Dragon.
not even a Void Dragon. It's just like, once you open up all those points, you can do some really silly stuff.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's just a lot of points, and there's still some valid stuff in Necrons, so. What about you, Zach? Any hobbying?
Nope.
Troy?
I did a little basing on some stuff, but that's about it.
I liked your snow bases. Those were cool.
Yeah, I've been working on
Yeah, that was dope. Anvil?
I worked on my Golden Knight a little bit, trying to do all the hoses and stuff on the exoskeleton so I can get that varnished and work on the actual actual armor itself.
Right on.
I did put gloss varnish on the armor plates, but I still have to do all the trim and weathering and that stuff on it yet.
Okay, right on. What about you, Chad? I know you did a little
I
bit.
finished a squad of intercessors. They're table ready, and then I'm halfway through the second squad that I'm working on. I did feel good when I finished the whole model that I had started from scratch. Built, prime, painted, everything. Felt good. Troy was right. I felt good about myself, and then I kept going, and then I got another ATV on the way. I'm looking for a fourth one.
Right on. Well, why don't we jump into games played this week?
And Chad's got boots.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a game. We put models on a table, but there was definitely some boots.
Okay, look. I played Ample. He was playing the 4 Knights list, which, coming off the bus, it's very intimidating when they're on the table. I mean, they're huge. They're all well painted, looked good. I was playing Ultramarines, and I even got to go first.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't go first. You went first.
I played 2 Gallants, a Crusader, and a Castellan. I went first. I had my Castellan on one flank, my Crusader on the other flank, holding 2 objectives, and I ran my Punch Knights forward, one towards the middle of the board, one up the right flank. I shot, the only thing I could really shoot at, I shot his Leviathan Dread, and I did like 3 wounds to it, and I killed a squad of Outriders. That was my whole
On the first turn.
Not a whole lot done. Chad countered back by killing the Gold Knight, and he put a pretty fair amount of wounds, about half the wounds
On the black
on the
Knight.
black, on the other Punch Knight. But then
I couldn't get in range. Of
well,
the other
he
two.
exposed his Eradicators, so the Red Knight and the Purple Knight took care of all the Eradicators. Punch Knight got in there and punched some stuff to death, and that was
pretty much it.
pretty much
I
it.
even deep struck a set of 3 Eradicators and brought them down on the Purple Knight and did 0 wounds when they came in.
For reference, the Purple Knight is the Castellan.
Castellan Knight, yeah. The Castellan, which I should have.
But you gave the relic to have a 4-up all the time.
Well, that's the Warlord ability.
Well, I ran my melee up the right side, my Outriders and my Captain and my ATVs. I ran it all up the right side at the Crusader Knight, where I should have ran it at the Castellan with Bobby G, have him go up, but instead I had Bobby G turn to finish off the Black Knight, and then moved my 3 inches toward the closest model, and it exposed Bobby G. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
So then he got shot off the board with a missile that took away his invulnerable.
For reference, I believe the Black Knight was on 1 wound.
Yeah.
You didn't need to send Bobby G.
I wanted to get it dead. Only thing else over there was a squad of intercessors.
Somebody said something about, well, Knights beat Chad, so they must be decent. And my response was,
It's Chad.
Chad could lose to a teenager playing My Little Pony army while multitasking PUBG Mobile.
Hey, don't be hating on...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Don't be hating on teenagers playing My Little Pony.
Yeah,
Might
but
be good.
it
Rainbow Dash would mess you up, bro.
Definitely would mess you up.
the Gallant got back there and finished off his Dreadnought and then piled into his Intercessors. Which he was only at 1 wound. Like, he could have chipped him with...
I was trying.
Ultramarines, he could fall back and shoot. He could have done all kinds of things, just chip 1 wound off of it. But he instead, he took Gilliman over there and super killed it, which I was playing House Tyrannus. He got up anyway. On 1
At
wound.
1,
So
again.
I rolled up pretty poorly on the wound. But he got up anyway, but then Chad was... Since my model got up over here, it was... His... Bobby G was closer to the Castellan. So if he wanted to consolidate, he either had to stand pat or move away. And he moved away from his
Because my next plan was I was
Eradicators.
just going up.
So that Bobby G was just out.
To be fair, I mean, a squad of Eradicators isn't going to protect Bobby G versus Castellan anyway. He would just kill the Eradicators. And
My
Bobby
plan
G.
was to move 3 inches the next turn move and get in there on the Castellan, and then Bobby might kill it.
Here's the
Stone
thing.
was the only knight that could shoot.
You need to know,
So that actually...
next time you play that
What about
match,
the night that just stood back up.
Well, next time that I stand play that match, I'll know the Castellan is the threat from
It doesn't
the
have any
jump.
wounds.
It's a
Stubborn as shit.
And like after my first turn, I felt in full control. The Black Knight was at half. The Gold Knight was dead. Did not stand back up because he failed his roll.
He didn't pay to do it. I think it's crazy you can pay and
then still fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He just wastes 2 CP. I have everything alive.
my thing is you could have just like played the waiting game and not exposed yourself.
Have you met Chad?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to understand they're knights.
The same thing every week.
It
Yeah,
is.
he
It is.
He ran the Outriders up to take, like, it was.
I agree with moving Outriders.
Well,
that's a
the
sacrifice I'm
Outriders.
willing to make.
No, sorry, the ATVs.
Them too. Like they're fast.
Well, the
Sure.
Outriders were dead. I shot them.
Exposing the Eradicators, though,
I mean, I either expose them or I just leave them in a building and they do nothing.
He stepped them out. And
I stepped them out and killed a knight.
Killed the Gold Knight. And I was like,
So for one turn, they're going to be exposed.
I was like,
one
okay.
turn.
So
They had to be.
And then I didn't even kill them all, but I killed
He
3
killed,
to 5
he
or 4
killed,
to 5.
he killed 3 and put...
No, 4.
he-
But you brought 2 back.
It was
He killed-
a really weird game because Chad was dominating the first 2 turns, and then he was just out of an army.
Yeah.
was really
15, objective 15, 15, and then I just lost.
I have to agree with Zach. There had to be mistakes made somewhere
Oh,
by you in
Oh,
there.
I definitely know what the mistakes were.
Because
I didn't
with proper terrain, like, his
And we
Castellan
had-
should not be
We
able
had a
to...
lot of terrain on the
middle of
board.
The board was really blocked up.
Really, to get a knight through, Troy was worried it was too close, but I could
Yeah,
turn a
you
knight
turn
sideways
sideways.
and shimmy it through there. So
Yeah, I
it
did the training,
I
then
did.
realized
I put the
that
terrain up, and then after I made it, I was like, I don't think this is fair. And he's like, I can turn it sideways. So
yeah, so I could get the middle was like a T, a cross, but I could barely turn a knight through. So there was plenty of terrain to get through there.
Yeah.
But
I should.
my knights are pretty mobile, so I can move the purple knight 10 inches out and then just.
I should have definitely
Got something.
focused the Castellan instead of the Crusader after I killed the 2-punch knights.
The Castellan's firepower... I mean, the Castellan is more than 2 Crusaders in firepower, for sure. And it's, only 200
By the
points.
time I realized this, halfway through turn 3, my Eradicators were dead, and I'm like, well, Bobby can get there and kill him, but he had a missile left, and it killed Bobby.
Yeah. The missiles are brutal.
Well, actually, the volcano lance killed it. He failed 2 wounds. He failed 2 on that. He only had like 2 wounds or 3 wounds left. He's like, I might reroll. I was like, they're 3d3.
And my die, I had rolled 3 weeks in a row to get Bobby G back up, failed me. He did not
No.
come back.
You burnt that one up. You should throw it in
I
the
gotta
trash.
switch now.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move to questions this week.
There it is.
Oh, you used mine?
Yeah,
You were
that's
taking my juju?
He took your juju.
Didn't you play
Just go.
tabletop games?
You play a couple tabletop?
Oh, yeah, I did play tabletop games. We just didn't have both sides to bounce it off of, so I feel like a little biased. So I did play a couple or 3 games this week, and I'm still struggling with... People are rapidly adjusting to the Satan's ability, the damage mitigation ability, mostly because most armies have baked in 2 phases of effective attack anyway. So I found out the worst feeling was I played against a Space Marines player and I went first and I got in there and I killed almost like a whole unit. I got in there and I killed almost like a whole unit. I killed a unit of scouts because he was playing scouts and I got the scouts. I was like, okay, well I got something on the first turn at least. But then he basically just came up and he moved up 2 units of Outriders, and I just couldn't kill them all. So he shot it, moved in 2 units, got the 3 wounds on it, and then it got to my turn, and I didn't want to back out of combat. So I just stayed in combat, and I still didn't get them all, and they got enough wounds on me to kill it that time. So that was rough. And it's just one of those things. Now, playing 2 of them, it definitely kind of splits their fire, and it keeps the rest of my army mostly durable, but it's a hard thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I feel like maybe I'm not playing the right threats alongside them to make them have to make the decision. Like, my other threats just aren't durable enough, or in my case, most of the time, they're just hidden.
So you're not giving them options. They only have the option.
Because the idea is they can only deal 3 wounds per phase, but I'm paying 350 points for it when it's like I could just not play. I could just like if I have to play it KG and try to avoid damage with it anyway, then I really feel like it's not worth being in the list for 350. So I feel like right now, like I've added a ton of mobility. I've got 3 max units of Scarab Swarms and 2 units of Tomb Blades. So it's like I feel like my board control now is crazy, combined with the Veiling the Warriors. Because the Veiling the Warriors is it's very powerful. It's the most powerful thing the army's doing because you just drop 20 dudes that are +1 to hit. on your opponent's line that have reanimation protocols. And the thing is their weapons are strength 6, AP -2, damage 1. And it's on their line. So not only do they pretty much wipe out like 2 Marine squads, two like 5-man intercessor squads pretty consistently. They can sometimes, if I'm lucky, get a good charge into combat. But even if they can't, there is 20 dudes that are basically just stacked on your line that are solid against pretty much everything except T7, T8. And I'm loving that. And the thing is, you shoot at them once, reanimation protocol, get a couple back. Like, math says, I mean, they'll probably die anyway, but, I mean, I'm paying 260 points, and I'm killing guaranteed 2 units of intercessors and absorbing a ton of firepower. So I'm really, really happy with that. But then I've also got Tomb Blades moving around the board, and Destroyers are still, they're just, even with their movement dialed back, they're still really, really viable units. Just getting to always reroll hits and wounds for the CP is just nice to have, like, mathematically guaranteed damage.
They just don't crush with reanimation protocols anymore.
Yeah, they're pretty shit. I don't think I've reanimated one whole dude yet. Because it always seems like 2 die, and then they just pivot away from it because math says you're not going to roll 3 5s on that, because players are getting really smart about the army when it comes to stuff like that. So that's what I'm noticing is, like, they'll shoot, kill 2, and then let me re-roll, unless they roll something super hot, but they're just kind of just throwing pot shots at it.
Instead of giving you more dice to roll.
Yeah, they're not trying to, like, they're not shooting eradicators at them, right? They're using eradicators on my bigger stuff. It's becoming, I will say, in the last 2 weeks, it's gotten a lot harder to win easily. Like, people are definitely figuring out how to play against Necrons. The list still feels good. I'm just trying to figure out the right threat patterns. I definitely am liking the Scarabs just because they're super cheap and they have a 10-inch movement, and with the objective secured trait, you're putting 9 of them and covering an objective. And if they get close to it, you can just spend a CP and pop one, and it's D3 mortal wounds on something. So, and they on 6s when they attack, if they hit on 6s, they automatically wound. So they do actually make your opponent roll dice, surprisingly, because they have 4 attacks apiece. So when you're rolling 36 dice, every 6 is just an auto wound. So I don't know. I'm enjoying them. The Scarabs definitely feel good. The Tomb Blades feel, yeah, they feel good for what I need them to. The hard part right now is trying to just trim it to where I can run like a single patrol. Because right now I can't. I'm having to run like a battalion because I need more than 2 slots in like my fast attack and stuff like that. So I'm kind of forced into like these awkward spins on points with Necrons just because I don't have enough unit variety.
That's the problem I'm having to play. I'm playing 2 patrols now.
Well, and dropping the Silent King was my +3 CP, right? That was a huge CP buff. So it's awkward, but I'm enjoying it. I think I'm going to play a game this week with somebody IRL to let you guys see them on the table. I've definitely got some games in, so I have a better understanding of the army. But I'm enjoying it a lot. Still, I'm losing. I think I had like a 50% win rate this week, so could be worse. But yeah,
better than a 0% win rate.
Yeah, it's better than getting boosted by knights for sure.
I lost the other game I played to the Chaos Demons by a point, 58 to 57. That was brutal on the last turn. I'm having a rough couple weeks. My whole army has changed now, though. So
that's right. I had like 2 months there around the start of 9th where I don't think I won a game.
Everybody said your army was good too. You look online, everybody's like, "Admit's good," and Hamill just can't figure it out. Still can't figure it out.
Nope.
Yeah, he's just playing other armies.
He just got him in the dumpster with the gas on, waiting to light his match.
Yeah. Hey, at least Death Watcher getting it, which I'm sure we'll go over this week. So let's go ahead and do questions.
Krieg, All right. Our questions for this week. Andrew Mumford via email. I'm coming back to the game after a while, 3rd or 4th edition. I'm playing Nids and Grey Knights. My question is, how do you feel about the Space Marine buff not going to all chapters, i.e. Grey Knights? Also, Grey Knights need Overwatch at their BS skill.
I think their lack of rules is awkward now, but it'll be...
When they get their own codex.
They're going to get their own codex, so it'll be worth it. They'll give you some amount of variety. I mean, we're just in a kind of a weird spot.
But you're going to have the basic tenets of Space Marines are still going to transfer to Grey Knights. You know,
Grey
like
Knights are especially different.
no, but I'm
Yeah,
just
from
saying.
what I understand,
I'm
they're
just
not
saying,
going
like,
to get Primaris, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like their lore thing that they
Yeah.
are hidden.
Theoretically, no. Yeah, they're the one that's not.
But you
gonna
know,
get it.
the basic weapons, the ballistic still's going to be similar. Those kind of things.
Yeah, they already have that.
All I'm saying is, in the basic rules of, they're going to have some of the basic Space Marine stratagems.
You've been gone since like 4th edition, so like it's a
Wasn't that
completely different-
wasn't that the Grey Knights edition?
I have no idea. We were not playing then.
Yeah, that was.
I'm pretty sure that was like when Grey Knights were
Grey
insane.
Knights are actually still pretty good right now.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You just need a pile of paladins.
Yeah.
Smash some games.
Nids, on the other hand, you wait for the codex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get your codexes, though, just be patient. Wait
But
like 6 more months.
As far as Overwatch on ballistic skill, I think it would almost be too strong. Because
Actually, I would not have a problem with everybody hitting on their ballistic skill now that you have to pay command points for it.
I would definitely have a problem with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would 100%
Just
have
one
a
unit once that they're charging. Like,
What's the one army that?
I mean, I would pay 1 CP to shoot twice with a unit.
yeah,
That's insane.
Doesn't Tau?
Well,
get
maybe
to
it wouldn't
shoot
be one
ballistic
CP.
skill.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if it was one, you're saying 1 CP
They
shoot
get to
twice?
shoot Overwatch no matter what,
they
right?
get to shoot Overwatch, and
They
there's
hit on
one
fives.
of
One of the
their
sets.
steps hits on.
Not on their ballistic
No.
skill.
But you don't get
Well,
to
it
shoot
basically
one.
is
You don't get to
Tao's
shoot one
ballistic
twice because you don't get to choose. They choose what unit they're charging. So
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Spoilers,
probably not
if
for
they're
1 CP,
charging the
but
unit, it's a good one.
no, that's not necessarily true.
that's not true. I've charged shit units and then piled into good units.
Yeah.
But
That's the
but
secret.
also it could be just to get a free move or get to an objective or whatever.
Or you
know,
left
it's
the
not-
dude out there and Zach's just like, oh, I'm just going to jump to that objective. Because,
Ballistics to Overwatch too good, unless it's like 3 CP to Overwatch.
But Grey Knights smash games because you've been out for 6 editions. Just, yeah.
Paladin's good.
Yeah, Paladins are very good.
all right.
Abort. Tyranids.
Abort,
No,
abort
don't abort Tyrannies. Just wait on Tyrannies.
Wait, don't sell them. Just wait. Because Zach's pushing the abort button.
Ah, thanks.
He's feisty on his birthday. Okay. Patrick B via email. Back in August, I asked you guys about airbrushes as I was thinking of buying one. So I got a Badger airbrush, and then I spent the $110 on a no-name Galaxy airbrush compressor. It has been amazing so far. Thanks for that advice. Here's my question. How do I keep my airbrush clean and not get globs of paint stuck when trying to spray? Also, should I sell my Galaxy and spend the $150 on the Master Blaster airbrush compressor? Do you think that will fix the issue?
I'll take the first part, and I'll let Avil take the second part, because
Okay.
he's the other airbrush guy. Keep your airbrush clean. The first thing is, I have a can of lacquer thinner out in the garage. I soak my airbrush in that like once a week,
You
and
soak it in it?
soak it. Bulp. Just drop it in. Just drop it in. Let it do its thing. Take it out. Clean it. And I believe Anvil, don't you put some sort of like petroleum jelly or something on your needle?
I just put oil.
Oil.
A light oil, like
What kind of oil? Motor oil?
no, like I'm saying, like a light oil,
Vegetable
like a
oil?
sewing machine
Like
oil. Well, I was going to say what I was getting to it. Give me one oil.
He's feisty on his birthday, I'm telling you.
It's
people need to know.
it's like it's sewing machine oil, like a very light, thin oil. I just rub a little on it to make sure that it slides well.
You can get it at Joann's or Hobby Lobby or any of your...
Those like a sewing machine oil.
That's cool.
Real light.
I didn't know what kind of oil you used either. I definitely use airbrush or air compressor oil for my air tools. I just stick it in because you put it in the bottom of the air tool and it's fine. So I just put my needle in it when I clean my airbrush.
You can. I don't know if these paints will fisheye, but I know like normal paints.
I haven't had
that kind
any.
of stuff will.
Just when I put it back together, after I dry it, I just put a little oil in there to make sure it, and on the trigger mechanism, put a little in there and make sure everything slides real easy.
As far as the compressor goes, as long as you have a regulator on your compressor, there's no reason to upgrade. I literally have the cheapest master airbrush compressor.
But I think what he's talking about is when you spray the tip, you get dry paint on the end.
That's what I took from it.
Yeah. So what I do is, I have a small bristle aluminum brush, and you can buy them at a hardware store. They're like welding brushes. They're little stainless steel or aluminum. And as I spray, if you're going to spray for a long time, like 15 minutes or so, you will start to get some buildup and dry on the tip. And you just hit it with it. Just rub it on the brush, just a couple strokes back and forth. it'll knock any of that paint off that's drying to the tip.
That's cool.
Or you can, if like, I don't know what I'm assuming the Badger has a little cup on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've got
that's
one.
what I was gonna say.
So that's why I use the brush on those. Like my Harder Steenbeck has just like a little fork. It's a little flat, so you could actually just take a paper towel with some solvent on it, alcohol on it, and just wipe it.
So I have the Medea airbrush cleaner. And I squirt that onto a paper towel, screw the tip off, and just mash it in there with my finger.
That stops the gloss.
That's what I did on the last one. You saw me take it apart and clean it every so often. Same thing, cleans the tip.
Also, if you don't want to spend the money on airbrush cleaner, 2 parts alcohol, 1 part water.
What kind of alcohol?
I think this one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Isopropyl alcohol.
Obviously, it's tequila.
Preferably the 90% if you can get it. At the store, but 2 part. And I always put a little bit of Windex in it, just to tint it blue, because I have the little squirt bottles with a 90 on them.
Yeah.
And if you have one of water, because you want to thin stuff, you'll get it confused. So I just pour a little Windex in it, and it'll tint it blue. So then you got a blue and a white one.
Don't
Nice.
set your blue Kool-Aid down next to that at Amble's house. You might get a surprise.
Yeah.
What about the...
Oh, and the compressor, if you have a regulator, there's not a lot of difference. Your Galaxy will get the job done. Now, if you can sell it and get a good price on the secondary market, and you just want the few options that the Master provides.
He said he spent 110 on it, and the Master Blaster is 150.
Like 150.
Is that what you use?
That's the one I have, and I love it. It's great.
It's a great compressor.
It's quiet. It kicks on and off. It's got a dryer. It's got a filter dryer and a regulator. It's got everything you'll ever want.
Does it have a tank? Do either of them?
Yeah, his has a tank.
I
That's
went-
I think
the
a tank would be
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah, because mine only kicks on like even when I'm spraying, like once every 5 minutes.
yeah, mine's
it's
on
so
all the time.
quiet, too.
Yeah.
His is so quiet.
But if we're talking about, is it going to improve
The
your
flow-
actual quality of your paint job?
No.
No. But it is definitely a better experience in the hobby.
But yeah, just as you get that drying, either your paint's a little too or not thin enough, and it's globbing and sticking, but it will, even as any airbrush, if it's thin properly, if you as you spray long enough, there will be a little bit of drying on that cup, and it'll create problems. You got to wipe it off.
Yeah.
Shot of tequila. Fix it every time.
Feel it. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Leighton V from the front stoop of his porch last night, because he didn't want to email me the question. Does anyone else get upsetty spaghetti with Games Workshop's inconsistent rule writing and laissez-faire FAQs?
Of course I do. I bitch about it every week. They're a very, very wealthy company, and they make rules like the 5 of us sitting here. That's how I feel. Like, they got like a room of guys that have been there since the beginning that are like, no, I think this is what it should do.
If the 5 of us made the rules, they'd be consistent.
They would probably, well, I won't say they'd be better, but
No.
But
I'm not better. I'm
but
just saying, like, they have a theme.
They do stuff like they let apothecaries pick up bikers, and they made the
The
ATVs.
Outriders, bikers.
They made the ATVs. The Outriders are fine. They made the ATVs bikers, and you're like,
I'm cool with that.
that probably
right now,
should
but-
be something you can pick up.
That's just like little things you miss. Like you find that in all kinds of.
But to me,
games.
it's emblematic.
Once they get out, stuff shows up that just a small group didn't think about.
Yeah, well, I think to me, it's emblematic of they don't test it enough.
yeah, we went over this last week's
Last
episode.
week, yeah.
They need bigger testing teams. And
Well,
their
that fixes
testing
the
teams
problem.
need to not be players that play in tournaments. So
And
that they're not
overall,
biased.
I would say like they don't have like crazy inconsistent. Like there's some consistency.
I can see
They're
where he's
consistently
coming
on
from.
that
Like every
Imperium
once in
dig.
a while, you're like,
Yeah,
like when they did it back in the day when they first changed the Demolisher cannons, they only changed them for Space Marines and not for Guard.
Not for everybody else.
It's like, why would you do that?
Why
Why not
that?
just
Like the flamers. The 12-inch flamers.
yeah?
right
Or
now.
the Flamers for like Thousand Suns didn't get it, and you're like,
Well,
I feel like that's more what he's talking about. Just like,
Yeah.
just do it. Just do it. Why has it got to be so difficult?
They probably forgot that the Flamers and Thousand Suns are called something different. They're like, fuck 'em.
the biggest thing I don't like with the inconsistency, like in the book, the core book that everybody has, okay, and they have like the names of the secondaries and everything, and then they release this tournament pack book and change some of the secondaries. The same thing, they just changed like this is 3 instead of 4.
Well, it's the tournament version.
It doesn't matter. The rules are the rules.
No,
You
well,
should
that's
have
why you
different
bought the
rules for
tournament book.
You have the
You should
casual
have
book.
different. Yeah. Do you want to be? Are you? Yeah.
Are there different rules in like standard and legacy to like when you draw cards? Like, oh,
Have you ever played casual Magic? There's no limit to the number of
lands you can put
copies.
them all and play. Yeah, I understand.
Okay,
that.
so
That's
that's
the
what the book
difference.
is.
That's
The
the
book,
difference.
like the book, you can cast the same psychic power as many times as you want.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Yeah. It's just the only part of the book you've ever read
I understand.
are the missions.
I understand the marketing and they like money. Like, oh, you need this for
No,
this.
it's
you
not
know?
even that. Like, I think.
Oh, it's a little bit of that.
No, GW wanted control because if that
Probably
was
is a little
if it was that, the book would have been just as big as the main book, and they would have made another $50 on it with a little extra lore.
The main book teaches you the basics you need to play a game. Then if you want to play tournaments, because not everybody wants to play tournaments, you buy the little book.
I think it's also part of.
Until the FAQ,
The
the
tournament
big
book was written
to
alongside
oblivion.
the ITC guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main book was GW wanted probably more control over the whole game. They're like, well, we'll write this book with you and let you kind of help decide how
Do the tournaments?
balancing tournament wise, like because we trust you more for that.
I've said my piece. I feel like this question's gone long enough. Moving on.
Feisty. Jaden G. Anyone else come to realize they like painting more than playing?
Yes.
No.
No. Never no.
Nah.
I enjoy painting, but playing is.
Nah,
Still
I
worth
see.
it.
I feel like I like going and watching other people play more than play because there's always salt, and I'm not salty when I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about somebody getting salty at me. I'm not going to get salty at anybody. I could just sit there and paint and tell everyone else what they're doing wrong. It's great.
I think overall they're like different experiences. Like
They
painting's something you do by yourself.
It's
Generally,
two different hobbies
Yeah.
combined. Warhammer is like three different hobbies combined into one thing. Like painting is a hobby and playing games is a
I
hobby.
enjoy them both, but I definitely enjoy playing more.
I like the idea of playing. I like theory crafting lists, but I really like painting.
Zach,
I don't.
He does not like painting,
I
so
don't particularly enjoy painting most of the time. Every once in a while I'll get on a kick where I
kick.
paint a ton of stuff.
6,000 points.
And then I burn out and I don't paint again for like a year.
All right.
But then again, Zach's army is like 20 models, so he's just like. Good.
My newest one.
His oldest one is
His
like
oldest
1,000
one's so many garbage. Albin S. from Warhammer 40k. Do you all think there will be holiday Battle Force boxes this year? If so, what factions/units would you want to see in them? I think there will be, but what are your thoughts? So the Battle Force boxes they did last year, they did like 4 or 5 of them. It was all like 20, 27, 19, 20 miniatures, and I think they were like $50 or $65.
they were like
No, you're way off.
110 or
And they did
I could
one.
only
They did one for most armies.
I can only find prices right now, and they were like 60, 70, in that range.
you should buy those.
You should buy those, yes. Because
That's a good price.
probably find and start collecting.
Especially the Chaos Space Marine Battle
Yeah,
Force.
it was
Because that's
nice.
got 2
It was
obliterators in it and the new Marine sculpts.
What's
They're
the wish list
Which
for
one?
this year? Custodes, Sisters.
I think
Yeah.
Custodes. They all got
Sisters
one.
would be cool.
Sisters didn't because their box was coming out.
Yeah. If
Sisters
Sisters,
were-
that'd be cool.
Sisters?
I would buy the Sisters Battle Force.
Do you
box
think they'll
if it
do them
came
this
out.
year? They have the last couple.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean-
no, I don't think they will because they just released the squad things.
One thing.
The little
the
small
combat
packs of
controls?
the.
Yeah, I think
They are kind of
I
the
think
same
they'll,
kind of
I
box.
think they'll push those.
No, I
That's-
think they'll still do because those are only out for a couple armies.
I think
I bet-
because they like money.
I would love to
Yes,
see a
that's my
Sisters.
thought.
Well, I think they'll do what they did last year with the holiday surprise packs or whatever you could buy. There were like 5 models and you pay $10 or whatever, and it's just like whatever off bits they found in the
Well,
back.
Definitely not what he's talking about.
No,
No,
I'm saying
I don't even think that was a holiday thing.
but I think they're
Wasn't
gonna.
that the thing we didn't even get here?
We got part of it, I think,
I
but
don't know.
But the Battle Force boxes were like
Yeah.
2 start collectings almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were definitely worth the money, and they did one for most armies, and I think
Yeah.
they will again.
If they did a Sisters one, I would probably buy it. Just because there'd be enough Sisters in one box to feel like I have the start of the
Already a
Sisters
Sisters
on.
I was just saying they'll probably just make more combat squads, and that's instead of the. Battle
I
Force.
don't think so.
I don't know, 'cause my biggest thing is they're going to be releasing codexes in December anyway.
So they might.
So
release bottles
I don't know
with
if they're going to saturate with a bunch of stuff.
That's fair.
I think you still do because the boxes don't actually cost them that much.
Is there,
They-
my
they could
opinion.
is there an
just-
army you want to see if they do?
Just Sisters. I think that Sisters would be really cool. I mean, you could do another Necrons or Space Marines box, but I don't think they're going to. So
Those are the ones I wouldn't.
Grey Knights.
I would see like pretty much everybody that did.
But everybody else got old models, and they're making new codexes. I don't know why you try to push that.
Well, you know, Grey Knights.
I could see a Death Guard. I could see a Death Guard Battle Force
Maybe one of the other 4
with
books
like
they're
a Plague
releasing
Burst
or
crawler because they're
Blood
also releasing the Death Guard Codex.
Well, if they do 4, the Death Guard, the Death Watch, the Iron Hands, and the Blood Angels, they release 4, 1 box for each of those.
I could see that.
Something like that.
That would
those,
yeah.
those are just Marines. Like,
Yeah. Well, maybe it's with the actual like including the faction specific bits.
maybe.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Pre-Nebula 91 via Reddit. I've been playing for years, and I just can't understand how the terrain works in 9th edition. Mainly when it comes to whether or not I can see through / shoot through a building. Please help.
Can you see through it? Yes,
Well,
no.
the first of all, are you playing with base zoning terrain? Because that really messes up things. We've come to notice because GW's terrain doesn't have bases, and they've written their rules for terrain without bases. But if you're building as a base on it, and say it extends out past where the building actually is,
So like
it can
sidewalk.
really, yeah, like if you're on the sidewalk, or let's say you got like half a building and the base extends out the back, and you're on the base, but are you really within an inch of the building? That's where it really screws things up for me.
I think as far as the see through, what is it? Light cover you can see through, right? And you can
Well, you
shoot
can see
through
through all of it.
All of it if you're up
That's
against it.
obscuring.
Yeah.
The
So
minus one to hit through dense cover.
Even
Yeah.
obscuring, you can see through it when you're within an inch of
Because
it.
if you're within an inch of
Yeah.
it,
I mean, it's really you need to clarify with your players. I would just suggest
Generally, if you
very
just-
simplifying, saying all of this terrain is light cover except for this solid block is obscuring.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
And if you're talking about just line of sight, we generally play where most of the bottom floors are line of sight blocking, unless you're.
We tend to play a lot of obscuring.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense that way.
Yeah, it allows for more tactical.
But generally, if there's a wall there, you know, can you see
So
through
if,
it?
if you're within an inch
Like,
of it and you can see through it,
The
then you can
question
shoot
is,
through it.
like, if you're sitting on a building wall and they're over here, on the other side of that building, like, can you shoot through that building?
If you're within an inch.
yeah,
of it.
if you're within an
But
inch
if you're
of the wall.
not, you can't shoot through
No,
that
that's
building.
true.
But they
And if they're behind a building, but they're not within an inch of the wall, then you can't shoot them. But if they're within an inch of the wall, you can shoot them.
so it's like you both have to be up on a wall to shoot through
Yes.
the building.
Yes.
Terrain rules.
Or exposed.
Terrain rules in 9th edition are a lot more complicated,
But better.
I think
and they
they're
are also awful to talk about in a podcast.
Because you can't.
You really need the terrain in your. You need to be able to see it. It's a very visual platform.
To
I'm pretty sure we listed off a couple episodes ago people that did terrain breakdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there was
those
a
will be-
YouTube video we linked.
Auspex tactics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
Mini
but
Wargaming did one.
You'll have to. You know, YouTube. YouTube will be way more helpful than we ever could be in that regard.
But definitely just talk with your opponent before you play. You want to both be on the same level.
Definitely clarify what's obscuring, what's not. You know, if you're using stuff as woods, because you don't have woods, you know.
Yeah, but Zach,
Don't use woods, honestly. And if you're struggling with understanding terrain, don't use woods.
We
We
use
literally
woods
had a
around like the outside of our. We don't use them too much.
yeah. Well, and we literally like 2 players this week were trying to use a bridge as woods, and then they got in an argument over the function of it as woods. So just don't play with woods until you have a better understanding of all the other terrain.
Yeah, terrain's still a kind of a weird situation even in our group, and we have a lot of games. Like, we're still coming up with things that seem awkward or weird, and we're still figuring it out. And then trying to tell you over a audio platform.
Yeah, we don't have video
It's not gonna
yet,
help
so it's
you
going
at
to be
all.
hard.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
took- it took us. We actually had to take Chad at the table with models and be like, "Here,
Yeah.
you can't see. Here, you can't see."
Well, we took a whole, like, we had everybody show up to the same place. We put stuff on terrain on the table.
This is how it
and
works.
discussed it. That's like how we figured out how we were doing it.
Yeah, that was
I'm not going to say that our way is 100% the
the
way.
right way, but it
But
makes
at
sense
least everybody in
now.
our group understands how we play it.
agreed.
All right. Maximus M. Name Warhammer 40k. My friend and I are trying to play, but we've got no terrain. Any ideas for random things we could use from around the house?
All the cardboard boxes you bought your models in,
There's
all the
a-
extra sprues you
Shoes,
bought
I've
your
seen
models
shoes on
in.
the table.
Google pour hammer. Because there's a lot of good recommendations. Like, I've seen, like, walls with, like, Pepsi cans built and everything.
I'm
Like,
say,
Yeah.
your canned foods.
We used magic deck boxes when we first started playing.
as terrain.
There's a video, or it's a picture of guys in Iraq during like Desert Storm playing in a tent with rocks.
Yeah,
So you can literally do it with anything you want.
You just gotta, recognize what's what and everything.
Theater of the mind.
But if you don't have if you got a little bit of spending cash, you can go to the store and get some styrofoam. And cut it into walls.
Yep. Agreed. That's what I would do. If I was super budget, I would still buy
$20.
Some
styrofoam.
1-inch styrofoam,
Yeah.
or half-inch. Cut it into like the shapes you want. Glue it together into like an L or a T or whatever you want to do. Put it on the table.
At least it'll give you ideas until you get terrain. Or have a friend that 3D prints terrain 24/7. That's a good friend to have.
I think coffee cans and cans of peas. Cans of peas make the best terrain.
Specifically
I'm
peas.
down.
Specifically peas?
It's because you're not going to eat
Get that corn
peas.
shit out of here.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm on
You
board.
mean the corn
Team
stuff is
peas.
good for eating. Peas is bad for eating.
Well, that's another discussion for another time. Jonathan S. via Twitter. We have a friend in our play group who plays one of the better armies in 40K. However, all he does every time he plays is complain about how trash they are. How do we make him understand that his army isn't trash? It might just be his play style. Anthony,
Oh, damn.
Zach?
Who's Jonathan? When have we been playing with Jonathan?
They said it's his friend.
I don't think you really win that fight.
You don't.
Well,
You don't.
when we figure it out,
We'll let you know. We're still trying to talk his army out of the dumpster, so.
It's not in the dumpster.
It's close.
Trash can, I'm
It's
sorry.
right next to it.
In reality, what do you say though? Like
You can't.
take Animal out of this
a
situation.
player like that, you cannot convince them that they're making mistakes. Right?
You just gotta kind of point it out in a nice way. Don't be.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, obviously, that's rule number one. But
And it also comes down to, is he just making mistakes, or is he just not taking the good units?
Yeah.
Because there's like, you can just be taking
yeah.
all the bad units, and then it's like,
That's true.
army's
Yeah.
butt. And you're like, well, yeah, you're playing the
these.
worst part of the army.
Yeah.
well, you have to decide if your friend is actively just being a dick to be a dick, or does he not understand how this army's supposed to work?
Right.
And if he's
He's
just,
trying to melee and he has the shooty army, like
if
Right,
he's
if he-
winning and he's talking about how trash his army is,
Yeah, is he winning? That's the real question.
yeah, that's true too. Like if he's actively doing things counterintuitive to the way his army should be playing, maybe you can, and he wants to learn, then you can help coach him. Like, hey, maybe don't move that guy there. Maybe don't shoot that thing at that. Like,
maybe don't leave PUBG in front of a knight.
Right.
Yeah.
that kind
you
of-
Like,
bracketed
if
that
he's
thing, don't
open-
shoot it. Yeah.
if he's open to help with that kind of stuff, then that's one angle you can take. But if he's just being a dick because he doesn't understand how his army works and he doesn't want encouragement or help, we'll
Then
let
just-
you know.
Then just go to Goodhammer and show him the win rate of his army over like 30,000 games, and then just be like, your army is good. Here's proof.
Yeah.
The discussion's over.
Well, I mean,
Or
we
you
went,
could
we
take
definitely.
his army piloted better than him. Show him
Yeah,
how to
like,
play.
hey, can I play
They
the game?
love it when you do that.
So we actually went through this with Chad. Because he's was our notorious MTG net decker, played whatever the most top tier list was. And when he got into Warhammer, he did the same thing. He was he wanted to play Space Marines, he just built whatever the best list was. Had no idea how to play it.
No clue.
Kept getting bootsed and was not happy. He's like,
And he still gets boost.
math says yeah, but now he understands that he's bad. The army's not bad.
Yeah. No, the units are good. It's what I'm doing. My strategery is not the greatest, if you will.
We just keep throwing new armies at him. He's like, it does what?
So stupid.
The cool thing is you can keep throwing the same army and you still get
I
that
know.
feeling.
I feel like I get picked on sometimes on this podcast.
Yeah.
On this podcast.
We warned
That's
you
it.
when you decided to be on the show.
All right, Jack G, our question of the week. What is everyone's thoughts on the new Imperial Armor Compendium, aka the Forgeworld
It's not
update?
out yet. That's my thoughts.
We've seen we're recording Sunday, and the leaks started yesterday. For
Yeah,
us.
I saw the first little bit on it, and articles start coming out.
I'm angry about my Dreadnought, even without the points.
I think it's fine. I guess. Okay, let's talk. Let Zach talk about Custodes,
Okay.
because Zach actually has a fair amount of information on Custodes. He can talk about what he likes and doesn't like.
Stones are good.
Spoilers.
Oh, thanks, bro.
We're done. No.
We're done here.
We'll see you next week.
The Forge World book was really good for Custodes. All the dreadnoughts, well, the non-Telemon dreadnoughts lost a wound but now they don't bracket anymore, which seems really, really good. They also got +1 attack, so that's helpful, especially since they are both fight dreads, so that's great. The Aquilin Terminators have Power Fists, and they got the flat 2 compared to the D3, which is super...
You like better, right?
Well, it's just super. It's super
It's
consistent.
Yes.
Is this the guys that have just like rifles, or is
No,
something different?
These are Terminators that are they have Power Fist and like plasma guns usually.
How many of these were you playing?
I haven't been playing.
You haven't been
any.
playing those at all.
They don't get the rule. They don't get to unleash the lines, and that's all I've been about lately. So, and they don't get the -1 and -2 ignore.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they
Also
have Power Fist, so they're Strength 8 minus
Damn.
3,
Oh, boy.
2
Flat
damage
two.
each. So that's really good.
Or
And they went down 5 points a
Our
model,
custodes, they're strength 5, right?
so it'll be Strength 10.
10, yeah, 'cause it's times 2.
Yes.
So are you gonna test any of them? Like, does that push them enough for you to want to test them at
A
all?
lot of people have been playing them.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to play them, but just mostly because I don't have the models. And they went down 5 points. That's great. The Telemon all the dreadnoughts get the Duty Eternal thing, where they ignore
Built in
Reduced
Duty
by one
Eternal.
Reduced-
All damage reduced by 1.
reduce the damage by 1. That's great.
Yeah.
Telemon got to retain his base stat line, unlike the Leviathan Dread, so he is
The biggest, baddest.
really good.
King Dreadnought.
He's just stacked and jacked. Just
Cock Diesel.
If you're playing against Custodes, that should be your lowest priority target at this point
For
because
sure.
you are not
Yes.
going to kill it.
Doesn't die.
The double fist one is only 260 points now, which I'm super happy about because I want to go around and punch stuff.
well, he wants to. He never does.
He never does, but he wants to.
Jack's like, I put this.
He's
on the
gonna
table,
hope somebody
and it
walks
wanders-
something up to it.
Yeah,
so
because
can
he
punch it.
walks it in one direction, and then like everything moves, and he's just like, well, turns around, goes, and then like the whole fight is just this robot just kind of walking around the middle of the field with chasing stuff.
The one with the good strength 8 gun is they're 15 points apiece, so it's still 290, which is what it was before the book came out. But any other combination of the weapons, the autocannon or the fist, are just 260. They don't have they're just flat 0 cost.
Would you play 2?
I would consider playing 2 Telemons now.
At 260,
At 260? One with one of each? Or 2 with both of them
seems
with one
viable.
of each?
Seems annoying for
It's
sure. I
all-
mean, it's just guaranteed 2 objectives you hold.
They're just super stout, and nobody else has T8 dreadnoughts anymore. That's kind of neat.
Which is annoying as all can be.
Still
I mean,
makes
it
us
makes
4
sense.
vulnerable compared to a 5 up on the Leviathan stuff.
You know, it is huge
Yeah. No, I mean, it's,
Like the Leviathan was small.
compared to the Telemon.
yeah.
Telemon,
I don't think it's that much.
I mean, the Telemon come over and like put his elbow on the head of the
I don't know if that's
Leviathan.
much.
So lean on it.
I doubt that.
All the Custodes tanks still get to keep their fly, but they lost the -2 to the charge, so that all the marine stuff got, but they get to keep fly, so that's super relevant.
Yeah, flying tanks.
Flying tanks are good. They were good in 8th. They'll be good now, too.
Do you know if they did anything to the flyer? Good or bad?
The big flyer,
Yeah.
they completely changed how the bombing runs work now in 9th edition. I haven't read enough on it to, because I don't play those models, so I don't really care. But I did see that they completely changed. I think you can do it every turn now instead of once per game. But I'm not 100% on that. So
Did they do anything to bikes or anything? Did you see?
No, that's
no, not really. I mean, there is Forgeworld bikes. They got the Melta treatment.
Have you heard about the Marauder bomber yet? Anything for it?
I haven't seen hardly anything for guard. I saw the Vanquisher cannons,
Strike
super
16.
powerful.
Flat 9.
Flat 9 damage, you know.
But
+1 against muscles and
Because
vehicles.
the Marauder can bomb every turn.
I don't know. I haven't found the stuff for the Imperial Guard, so just Custodes. That's all I my. Oh, the Sagittarium. Those are guys, the regular gun guys. They're all damage 2 instead of damage 1 now. Oh, they're regular guns. So
That's all.
that's pretty good.
That's all.
That's it.
Well, they were carrying around heavy bolters before, so they got treated as such.
Oh, gotcha. Of
Although they're not heavy.
course.
Of course not. Why would they
why would
punish
be-
it, you know?
So yeah, Custodes made out pretty well.
It was already one of the best armies.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the best
But
armies.
like the heavy bolter guys and the dreadnoughts were pretty much the only heavily played like competitive units.
Well, the Venatari, the change the buckler on it, they've always had a 3-up save, but they get a +2 to their save instead of, they always ignored -1 AP before. Now they get +2 to their save for having the buckler, so that's pretty good.
Jesus.
And they're cheaper, right?
And they're cheaper.
Or they're the same.
I think they're the same price.
I've heard people saying like they're really talking about playing the Minotauri.
Yeah, the Venatari seem really good now because of the jump pack custodes.
Yeah.
Move around a lot.
Yeah, the Venatari seem like they're going to be a super pain in the ass. It just seems like a lot of
I feel
mobility.
Like anything in custodes is a super pain.
Yeah, I just liked that most of the stuff wasn't mobile. So it was like the way I've always perceived my game against custodes is like as soon as the game starts, the clock starts, and if you can do enough damage before the time runs out, you win the game. Right? That's what you have to do. Like you have to keep them ineffective for first 2 turns. And if you can do that, and they do nothing for 2 turns other than walk up and sit on objectives or walk past them, you might win. Well, at least puts it on
Might
even
have a
playing field. Because
chance.
if you strike, I'm confident point for point. If any army strikes custodes at full force versus full force, custodes are going to come out on top. So like you just have to skew it into your favor and make that's the way I see it. That's the perception I have when I play that game. Is this army outmatches me in every facet except for speed. So the Venatari fuck that up because they turn the clock. They essentially remove the clock because they have amazing movement. So, and at least, and they're cheaper than bikes. Like bikes, it was like, okay, well, yeah, they have good movement, but like it's a shit ton of points to kill a bike.
115
I think
points.
they're 90 points.
90 points.
Captain's the guy.
The captain was on.
Yeah, but they also
Work.
they do work.
Yeah.
I've pretty much cut all the bikes.
When you put them on the it seemed like they were there for a while. You were deep striking them behind people. You would just wait, and it was like because everybody had to run kind of forward. You were just like boop, and the bikes would just wipe out the half their army. I was like, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I just feel like
the
that could be
cavalry
like the
behind.
Venatari for cheaper though,
Yes.
and do the same thing. So that's my thing. Like if it's coming out deep strike, like it'd be just as bad if it was Venatari.
The regular dreadnoughts, the Contemptor class dreadnoughts all got core. The Telemon doesn't get core, but there's nothing in the Custodes book about core, so I don't know. I don't think we do that right now.
No, you don't care.
You don't
They
care.
have the core keyword, but it doesn't matter.
I care, and my Relic Leviathan did not get core.
Well, we called
Well,
that.
you don't care because you play Baba G. Who also doesn't care.
Who also doesn't care if they're next to each other. But like they, for 350, 365 fully kitted out, it's not worth it anymore.
Well, we don't know if that's the points.
If the points take, because I can't find them. I've been looking since they released it. But like for 350 points, losing a toughness down to 7, strength 7 -1 2-gun instead of -2 2-gun. I don't think it's worth it. Plus, he doesn't have a 4-up invulnerable anymore. He has a 5-up invulnerable. But he did get built-in Duty Eternal, so that kind of offsets the invulnerable save a little bit. But 350 points is a lot for.
Okay, so it
losing
says storm
AP.
cannon. The storm cannons have 2 less shots, but they have an extra 12-inch range.
That's really good.
So they turned into the
So they made
they
it.
turned into chaos ones.
So they're 36-inch range, but they only have 8 shots apiece, or 8 shots apiece instead.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the
chaos ones
ones
were. Except for the chaos ones were strength 8.
The base cost of a Leviathan Dread now is 220 points,
Oh my god.
and it only up to 240 with the double storm cannon loadout.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
what I
there's
said
no-
this morning.
I was saying there's no way it was that.
Yeah.
gonna stay.
So they're 240 with storm cannons.
Instead of 350.
Yeah.
So they lowered them 110 points.
Those
Yeah.
are still really good for
Well,
them.
now they're insane.
I don't know if they're insane.
I don't know if they're insane, but they're
I
definitely.
find them
closer to
vulnerable
where
is
they-
not.
Yeah, they're not as durable,
They're definitely where they.
but
They don't. Well, they're
They're-
more durable.
but
They
they
That's
have
what I
have
was
more
saying. I
worse
said that this
invulnerable.
morning. I thought they
They're
were
not
260. They're 240.
they have more
loaded out.
range.
Well, they have more range, and but they hit on 3s now instead of 2s.
Yeah.
They do hit on 3s.
But 3s is still good.
Yeah,
It's
and the
not-
best
Not as good as 2s.
the best thing about playing against Imperium Leviathans was their shit range.
Yeah.
Like it was
That you can
definitely
just avoid them. You're just like, well, they can only shoot 32 inches, so
Exactly how you beat the Leviathan.
And your gun is the same exact gun on the first turn, except it just has 12 hits more.
Well, it's -1.
It's minus
Minus
2
one.
attacks.
No, it's -1 less AP.
But it has the -2 AP on the first turn.
On the first turn, it still has
Yeah,
minus
because of
2.
your doctrine.
You can give it a doctrine any turn you want. So
Yeah, I can make it have all the doctrines.
There you go.
Not core, though.
Well,
But
you can't have it all.
you stick Bobby G next to it, it'll be just like a head core.
So that was one of I was like, man, I swear, I thought I saw that they were talking about the points. So yeah, the base cost is 220 now. It should be the same way in Chaos too, just so you know. But obviously they didn't allow it to be in Death Guard as written.
That's the thing. So it's not. I don't like that. There's a weird line in the book where it's just Death Guard and Thousand Suns can't get any Forge World models.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I don't really understand that, but whatever.
Like I said, I was wondering if they were just going to include like specific units to Death Watch in their codex.
They could be getting specific dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Like special.
It could be, yeah. But
Did they changed the Contemptor then, too, I'm guessing.
Okay, so the first rule is the Chaos Speed. It references the Legion keyword, and this means that because you don't have a Legion keyword in Death Guard, essentially, so it's just going to change Death Guard to a keyword,
maybe.
and you'll be fine.
I see. If Death Guard weren't coming out first, I'd be more inclined to believe that. But unlike the Space Marines, the Chaos Space Marine book's coming out after Death Guard. Like where Space Marines came out, they got their blanket rules, and then all the other books
Those are
will
the
come out.
chapters on top.
But Death Guard's going to be its own book, probably Thousand Suns too. So I'm not sure how they're going to work that. We'll just have to wait and see.
I guess you should just sell all your Chaos from Imperium. The rules are easy.
Not that. I might sell my Dreadnought.
Sell it to Chad. He'll need another one.
I
He's
need
over
a
here
third
fapping
one.
to one now.
Yeah.
I have 2.
3 would be the same cost as
And
2.
I don't think they're going to put Forge World units in the books.
No.
Otherwise, they would have done that across the
No,
just
I,
got rid of
I
Forge
think
World.
they'll. I think it was an oversight.
Probably right.
And it's GW. This is one of those things we talk about. I mean, this is no less like ridiculous than being able to pick up an 8-wound model and missing that. So,
I just don't understand why they changed it from 3 to 303 to 365 fully loaded out to now it's 220 and 260 fully loaded
well,
out.
it's not core.
Well, it's a completely different model now.
Yeah, it's lower toughness, lower save, lower ballistic skill.
Yeah, they completely nerfed it.
Let's just make a new model.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're bringing everything is on steps now,
I'm
and Forge
surprised
World's in line with the steps.
Yeah, I'm surprised they did it with the Leviathan though, because that's got to be like one of their top selling units.
'Cause that's the thing;
really
they already
surprised
sold
they
them all.
Like
They sold them all.
the ballistic skill, I'm fine with. The
hitting on 3s.
hitting on the hitting on 3s is fine.
That's
like,
a fair,
The T8 kind
The
of
5-up invulnerable, I'm okay with. Like
especially because it got Duty Eternal as well.
the going from T8 to T7 is a gut punch.
Yeah, I don't like. That's the part I like the least.
Like that model looks like it should be T8.
It's
For
huge.
sure. Especially when you stand it next to the other dreadnoughts that are T7. It's
Yes.
like, really, bro?
But I play Telemons, the good dreadnoughts.
Must be nice.
They took T9 away from the big fat Lord of War demon heavy tracks.
That's
Did they take
Yeah.
T9 away
He's
from
not
him?
T9 anymore. They
Why?
They reduced all their points, but I don't know, man. I don't make rules.
He's the disgustingly resilient
Yeah.
Lord of War. Like,
a
I was
100
hoping T9 was going to be more relevant in 9th edition.
Yeah.
is 140 points.
they took
worth.
T9 away from all the warlords except for the biggest
Oh,
one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're all
so that must be
T8s.
it. They must be just getting it out of the game.
So that's the
Well,
question.
the biggest one is still. It also it has.
that
They
gives
put
it that gives it something special.
How
that
big
it
is the
has.
difference between T7 and T8? Like, is 110 to 140 points worth
Yeah.
dropping a toughness?
I mean, that's not all it dropped, but
But still,
it's
I mean,
big. T8 to T7 is big.
T8 to T7 is big because there's a lot of heavy
Would you
weapons
rather
that
have-
fire
or-
at T8.
Would
If
you
you
rather
look-
have a
if you
T8 model
or
and it
shrink
costs
bait.
130 points more?
Yes. Not 130 points more. Probably, I'd pay like 80 points for another one.
In an Eradicator meta?
Maybe,
Possibly.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Because
now,
then
oh
Woodland
God, now
4s
they-
versus Woodland 3s.
yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Going down to T7 versus Eradicators is super relevant. And Eradicators are the meta. So,
The model just looks like it should be T8. That's my biggest complaint.
I agree.
The Lord of War, Lord of Change, they have his points in -50. He's still probably not playable.
So I do want to talk about the drill.
Okay, yeah, we got a picture
I
posted
want to
about
talk
this.
about the drill. The drill went up 4 wounds. Its weapon, let me get the profile.
You got the Melte rule for the weapon.
Yeah,
It's going to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, its ranged weapons are now like the new Melta rule, which is super dope.
In half, it's +2.
Alright, so here it is. The Melta, so new Melta, which you guys, yeah, the damage is +2 at half range.
8-4, D6.
So its
+2.
melee damage moved into, I believe before when it was in melee, it was
D6.
D3, it was, no,
Well,
it was D3 versus regular things and D6 versus vehicles, right?
I don't know.
no. Then it just it did a thing where if you wounded the model and didn't kill it, it was like the headshot rule. You kept rolling
Kept
for
rolling.
mortal wounds.
Okay. Well, now it's D3 plus 3 damage to any non-vehicle unit, and it's D3 plus 6 against any vehicles in melee.
Nice.
So that thing is, I mean, it's going to bring the pain to some
Hey,
vehicles.
you need to respect the drill.
It's
of melee.
also toughness 8, which now we're talking about how relevant toughness 8 is, because hopefully we see with seeing the lower toughness across the meta.
Maybe people
Once they
stop
fix
playing
eradicators, once they fix eradicators, maybe people will not have so much T8 or strength 8 firepower, because there are strength 7 weapons that are good. It's just everything was toughness 8 that you wanted to shoot at. Now I feel like everything's going to be toughness 7 if you're shooting at high toughness stuff. It got up and it moved up 4 wounds, and it's only 180 points. So you got a 14 wound toughness 8 model with a 3-up armor save.
With a Melta, that's 5 shots now instead of
Yeah,
3.
shot Melta instead of D3.
That's
Yeah.
180 points.
Yeah.
And 2 Stormbolters.
That's the
It
same
has-
points
it has
as
Stormbolter.
a Redemptor Dreadnought
And-
fully kitted out.
And it holds 12.
It also carries 12 dudes
Oh my god.
and deep strikes for free.
It does defect.
Hey, I respect the drill and melee now.
The downside is, like, we had this discussion off because AdMech could take it, and I have one, and Aaron was wondering why I never played it. It works best with a shooty army, with models that get out and shoot. And so
I don't know if that's.
Troy played it against
Well.
me and it killed a whole squad of Outriders by itself.
I originally played it because it was before the hoverboats were a thing. And I would try to transport my melee units to the back lines so that they could get there. The issue was it popped up out of the ground, and the rule is they have to get out immediately. As soon as it's basically supposed to be under the battlefield, pops up out of the ground, and all the dudes jump out 9 inches away from your enemy. Well,
Surprise.
if you only have a melee unit and you fail your charge, you're just swinging in the wind. You're just like, oh, I am 9 inches away from this unit that I wanted to kill, but I didn't.
Well, so the problem there is the drill is more important than the melee unit.
Yeah.
Like you're playing it. You're not playing it as a transport.
Okay. Aaron?
You can finish your conversation. I'm done next.
All right. So, the Death Guard got it. They're not going to, who knows what they're going to do to it now, but the thing was great was you could put Plague Marines in it, pop up out of the ground. Plague Marines could jump out, still shoot, still fight, and they were pretty durable. So it was great for that type of thing. And you still got the drill back there.
Yeah.
The drill
That's
still
what I'm
didn't
saying,
work.
Like even in AdMech, it's a damn tank running around in the background.
The drill, you need to respect the drill and melee. Don't think you're just going to run up on it. And
If it doesn't have the mortal wound thing anymore, maybe not. But back in the old day, yeah, it was.
it did work. I was just shocked.
Yeah, Chad was like, oh, whatever. Troy's like, charge the drill over there, murder a whole squad. He's like, what?
I'm like, this 12 wounds. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I think I only played it once, but it was nasty.
You still have my drill.
Okay.
Yeah, you found something?
Yeah. Chaos Space Marines now have Space Marine drop pods. Like turn 1
So,
drop
I think
pods.
that was a thing.
They're called Dreadclaw drop pods.
Yeah, the Dreadclaw.
They're 115 points. It has the drop pod rule. They also
It's like a claw, so it does like melee attacks.
yeah, oh yeah. Its melee attack is strength times 2, AP minus 4, flat 3 damage. So
On
holy
the pod?
shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It moves around once it lands because it's like
Whoa!
Yeah, if you look at it, it looks really cool. It's like a giant claw, pretty much.
Okay, so that is
Spider running.
so that to me is definitely going to be huge.
Wild West
You can put obliterators in it.
Of course you can.
But they did send the Dreadnought drop pod. That's Legends.
Oh.
That list is
boo!
Good one.
Dude, this is crazy. I had no idea that
You're so excited now.
I am fucking pumped. I haven't been this pumped for a Chaos thing since the Necron stuff started dropping.
I mean, now that all your Necrons,
I'm just gonna
models
tell
that you love that are just so cool that you spend all the time painting on, you're just gonna abort.
No, I'm not. Because I would have to, there's a lot of Army I still need to pick up here. But that does give me hope that they're trying to balance Chaos and Imperium stuff that's kind of overlaps, that has traditionally not overlapped, because they're like, fuck Chaos. Because this model has always existed. It just didn't get the drop pod rules, even though it's a fucking drop pod. So, that's going to be, if you're a Chaos player, buy one of these. Kit bash one of these. You're 100% going to want one of these if you're a Chaos Space Marine player. Like, I don't know how you couldn't, because you can legit take, so it transports 10, and I believe Obliterators count as 3. I can't find in here. I'm almost positive Obliterators count as 3 in a transport. So you can take 3 Obliterators and a Captain, drop it on the first turn, and you're just going to bring so much pain. Because there also can be +1 to wound, you roll their weapon profiles. So if you're playing like Iron Hands, you can reroll all their profiles. That may be a super relevant thing. I don't know. I'm excited about this. I will have more opinions next week. I didn't even know that was a thing. I just found an article on it.
Do we know when the compendium's actually supposed to release?
Friday.
Doesn't
So
it?
it's
Yeah,
Friday,
it should
right?
release Friday, which means this week we'll be getting all the actual
So we'll
actual
get it.
points.
So one of us will get it, and next Sunday we'll have a full review.
Hopefully, we have a full review.
Theoretically.
I mean, this definitely. That's crazy. They also have the Terex pattern drill. So, like, transporting Chaos right now.
Yeah, all Marines.
Not Death Guard, I found.
Yeah. Transporting, like, that makes me just say, well, I pretty much can just cut Thousand Suns from the list and just play Obliterators and Terminators in Chaos and probably be fine. Which sucks, but, like.
A lot of drills this week. And the drill looks sweet, too, by the way.
Drill does look sweet.
Yeah, I don't know who asked if the drill looks cool. Who was that?
Roscoe.
Roscoe.
Like, it's a drill.
You've never seen
It's a
one
fucking
before.
drill, man. What do you think?
The
All I
tabletop.
can ever think about, though, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Dude, every time
Yeah.
I see the drill, I think about Ocean's 13.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think about.
The one that dug the tunnel.
The other one, the tabletop Titans guys. I think they had somebody was playing a drill.
He played it in his Death Guard.
They had
back when it
his was cut in half.
Yeah, then you get 2 drills.
Yeah.
He had
He
his
had it
drill
coming
cut in
up
half.
out.
He had it coming out of the ground. Like
So when he
That's really smart.
When he
Yeah.
deep struck it, it
When
just
he deep
basically was
struck
he had like rubble and stuff around it.
so it was just the drill coming out with the guys coming out.
That's really smart.
It was awesome. I was like, oh, it definitely made me think of the Turtles.
Tell you why he had to use
when
a hell of
they
a
take
saw on that thing because that thing is a solid brick.
Like, I don't know what he did.
It is a
A
unit.
unit and a half for sure.
You ever get threatened at the table, you can just throw it at somebody.
Yeah, it's like
You
a,
could.
It's a resin brick.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing I'm excited about. There's nothing crazy with with Necrons worth discussing, and I don't want to pick out every other model that could be good right off the bat. I just didn't realize that Chaos was getting a drop pod because the Chaos has already been traditionally like the super killy version of Marines.
I think Havocs might actually be what you put in the drop cloud.
Maybe.
Because Obliterators can already deep strike, and they're a good, like.
Yeah, but not
turn.
turn one.
Yeah, but you drop pod Havocs on turn 1, and then you drop pod, like, then you get, like, that wave thing going where
Brinks is the most alpha strikey of alpha strike players.
Well,
If he
yeah.
could throw more stuff down,
I think I'm
turn
gonna play
one
2 of them. Why not both?
in there.
Well,
Do Havocs and Obliterators.
Well, I would say play both. But
See
I
your
don't-
list,
I think you
just
put the
nothing but
Havocs in the drop
screaming.
pod.
No, I'm saying 2 drop pods.
Oh, well. Okay, well, there's that.
And you have 2 Dread Claws that are still like gonna
They're
be.
just gugging.
so angry. Oh my god. That's exciting. That is exciting.
Oh wait, more stuff I get to break rules and drop.
Starting to sweat over here. I'm getting so excited.
Everyone get your Oxfix scans ready.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's exciting stuff. I'm pumped for that. That's also. Can we talk about that with Corn Berserkers?
Wait,
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We can talk- Now you peak Zach's
Yeah,
interest.
yeah.
And it's a corn drop pod, so it gets the World Eaters.
Yes, and it's a melee drop pod.
No, it doesn't because we're not Marines. Only infantry get it.
The
Yeah.
fact that it can walk around after it
Yeah,
lands.
it's skitters.
Like what's the new Hammerfall?
The Hammerfall Skywalker.
It moves 3 inches.
The Hammerfield. What?
The one of the new I think it's the turret that comes down.
Turret.
The turret.
Oh yeah,
The bunker does
it
not
doesn't.
do
come
bunker-
down.
Yeah, the
But
bunker can't even
The guy
deep
wears like
strike.
a shielded turret.
He can
That
barely
moves
move 3
3
inches.
So he picks it up and moves it 3 inches.
Like what the heck? Like I don't understand. It's got wheels. It doesn't have wheels or nothing.
No, it's tripod. You can pick them things up.
Yeah. Holy crap. That's gonna be. Chaos was already solid. Like,
Chaos has still been solid.
yeah, I feel like Chaos was already. It already felt pretty solid. So that's a huge buff because the biggest issue I had with playing the army was if my opponent understood how killy I was, they could just avoid me. Not you.
No,
You were like, that does what? Every game we played.
I'm getting better. I'm asking more questions.
So
Look, I'm learning. It's not.
first
It's a
turn
lot
deep,
harder to learn than just magic was.
Yeah.
First turn deep strike's really.
first turn deep strike is an extreme buff on an army that was already so killy. Because my thing is you can also deliver just 5 Terminators, right? You could just drop in 5 Terminators with like plasma, and they also have like power fists or chain fists, and try to charge in. Like they can plasma a backline unit and then get a 9-inch charge on the frontline unit and kill that unit. And they don't even have to have plasma. They can just have combi bolters. You know, just seems crazy. It's very exciting.
I think.
Is that it? Is that all we're done? We
Maybe.
good? We good?
I did want to give Eric Davis. He posted on our Facebook fan page. Said, "Hey fellow Hoosiers, he's from Indiana as well. Just started listening to you and great job. I listen to you as I paint. This is my work in progress." He had a Black Panther inspired Harlequins, and they look awesome.
It looks sweet.
It does. Thanks for posting that up on the page.
Thanks for listening to the show. You know, we got the YouTube up and running now, so there's links to everything, and we'll start having more videos and stuff. We'll have more pictures on Discord, but there's a link to all of our socials and stuff in the descriptions on our YouTube and everything, and Twitter, Facebook, everything. But post us pictures. We'll shout you out on the show and everything. We love seeing works in progress and finished models, and Aaron does commissions, and
So
all
my
kinds of
question
stuff.
is, what's your favorite thing from the Forgeworld book, and what's your least favorite? And don't talk about Death Corpse of Krieg, because I got the rundown
The whole
from
internet
Zach today. I don't
understand.
want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. So I'm curious about what your favorite thing is, what your least favorite legitimate bitch is. So do you guys have any favorites though coming out of this? Zach's got to be Telemandred, right?
I'm pretty happy with the Talmud Judge.
Okay. You feel better about the Leviathan
Now that
we
it went
talked
down
about?
100 points, yeah, I mean,
All right.
I was still-
Troy, is there anything you're excited about?
I haven't seen everything yet. I always liked the Fire Raptor model. No, it was really good in the past, so they probably didn't make it that much better. But the model is.
They made it cheaper, and they made its guns a little lower profile, but it is cheaper, which means it might be playable.
The model is sweet.
It is sweet, dude. I wanted to buy one when I first started playing. What about you, Anvil? Is there anything that...
The drill is
I'd make poop.
well.
He plays Knights, too.
Yeah,
They didn't really.
They buffed the big.
They made a couple of them cheaper, but the big thick boys.
Nah,
the
he's
one you
the-
got.
He's big thick boy.
Oh, okay.
He's still gonna be like 600 plus points.
Yeah, I don't think they even mentioned it in changes anywhere I could find. The Castus one, that one, the Castus Knight Styrics or whatever, I think is the only one that got a buff. That's what they're saying, so. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Right.